Flextail reached out to me and asked if I wanted to try out their newest pump for air mattresses and give it an honest review. This is kind of like an unboxing, but realistically what I do when I get new pieces of gear is obviously open it up at home and try and get a little feel for it before I take it out into the field. See how it works, see what it looks like, and test it out. This is Flextail's newest pump called the Zero Pump. It's claimed to be the smallest pump for air mattresses and camping equipment on the market. It came in this nice little box. So that's it, Zero Pump. And a tiny little piece of gear. It's claimed at 1.2 ounces. Came with a single nozzle. They asked me what valves I use, and I only have Thermarest mattresses, so this is the nozzle for the Thermarest wing lock valves and a lanyard. I think this is the pump that I have, the 2020 max pump, so I actually have that pump, and then the one that a lot of people have now is the Tiny Pump 2X, which is a very popular piece of kit, especially for our larger air mattresses. So this is the pump itself. It has an inflate end, a deflate end, and an on-off button. The nozzle for the wing lock valves has a nice little indentation to kind of lock in there securely. And apart from that, it just fits on the pump pretty nicely. And there you go, you have a tiny pump. Double click to turn it on and single click to turn it off. So if you put the nozzle on the other end, you can deflate your mattress. That's it, pretty simple. Let's test it out on some air mattresses. That is a lot of mattresses. So what do I think of this little pump? I'll start with the good, which is it clearly pumps pretty well. So I inflated 6 mattresses in just over 10 or 11 minutes, including those huge Mondo King 80 by 40 inch mattresses. They took about 3 minutes each. The Neo Airs in the max size took about 1.5 minutes each, and my 2 base camp mattresses, which are the thinnest of them all, took about 1 minute each. So that's pretty nice. If I had had to wait for the self-inflating mattresses to inflate and then inflate them all with inflation bags and all of that, I probably would have been there for half an hour or something like that. Especially when I go out camping with my boys and I'm inflating tons of air mattresses, having a little pump is great. I don't have any questions about the nozzles falling off of this pump because it is really secure, just how it slides over the end. I wouldn't be worried either about losing the nozzle when I'm out backpacking, and that's definitely been a concern of mine with the original Flextail, is getting somewhere and it would always fall off. A few things that I appreciate are that it seems like a pretty solid alloy, some kind of magnesium alloy construction. I have no idea, but it's definitely some kind of metal on the outside. There's a single button on and off, and it's got kind of a protection to keep it from going off by itself because you have to double click to get it going. Single click off, so if you just press it once, nothing happens. I think that's a good feature. I think it is a nice little pump, but there's a few drawbacks, and the question is, if you have the Tiny Pump 2X, is it worth upgrading? And if you're buying a new pump, would you buy this one or the Tiny Pump 2X? That one does have a flashlight, so it's a slightly different product. But what is going to be attractive to a lot of people is the size and weight of this one. It doesn't weigh 1.2 ounces. It weighs 2 ounces, as is like this, the 2 pieces together. It weighs just under 1.2 ounces if I take the battery out. So that I find a little bit misleading in a way, because the original, the Tiny Pump 2X is something like 3 ounces. but no question that's with the battery in it because they're not removable. Not a huge weight savings. So you're talking about 1 ounce. I still don't know what the retail price of this is going to be. Are you going to pay that full retail price to upgrade from your Tiny Pump 2X to this pump for 1 ounce of weight saving? Hard to say. I don't know if that's worth it, because if you already have it, you already have it. Now, I don't have a really reliable pump. I have the original Tiny Pump, and this looks attractive to me. Now, again, I got this one for free, so I'm just looking at it from the case of a person who would go out and buy it and will probably say that this is, I'm going to guess, this is a huge guess, maybe something around 50 bucks Canadian or something like that. I have no idea. But there's a bigger problem with this pump that I found, which is there's no recharging port. There's no USB port. I've looked all over on this thing and I cannot find a USB port. I'm pretty much convinced that there is no way to charge it. It comes with the RCR123 battery, which is a nice battery, but I don't have a dedicated recharger for this. A lot of people will be out with battery banks, and you want to be able to recharge your equipment. You don't want to have to bring a charger for this. As it stands, I have two workarounds. I have this 700 milliamp hour. It doesn't say it's an RCR123 battery, but I'm pretty sure it is because it fits and it works. This is from Phoenix, and it is a rechargeable battery with a dedicated USB port in it. That's one option. If you're out on the trail and you want to be able to recharge your battery without having a battery charger with you, is to have a dedicated rechargeable battery. The other option that I have is my Phoenix flashlight, which is the HM50R, and this uses a battery like this one. So this is the same size. This doesn't have the dedicated charging port. It's a CR123, and I recharged the Nightcore battery in this flashlight with the USB-C. So right now, that's the only way I have to recharge the battery that came with the pump. So from my point of view, that's a pretty big oversight and a real big drawback. The fact that, first of all, you can't charge the battery in the unit itself would make me question whether I'd get this. I think it looks like a good pump. I can't really speak to the durability or anything like that, but my guess is that this is a good little unit. But as it stands, coming with a rechargeable battery and no way to recharge it, maybe that just has to do with the overall size and dimensions, that they couldn't fit a port in there to have it come out in this size and look this way. So they kind of went with aesthetics and look and size over the functionality. The only real workaround that I could see is to have it ship with a battery that's USB chargeable, like the Phoenix battery. If I was out on a long trail and then I had to take the battery out of this every time to charge it, that's a little bit of a drawback. My standard trip is an overnight or 2 nights and sometimes up to 5 days, and this would definitely last for that period of time. If you're out through hiking or on longer trips on a regular basis, or maybe you forget to charge it and then you end up out in the field and you do have a battery bank and you want to charge this, you're going to be in a little bit of trouble. If you think that it's not a negative, it could be a good pump for you, but I was pretty disappointed when I saw that. I think it's a design compromise that's going to make a lot of people think twice about this pump.